Today we're going to do something just a little bit different. The message is entitled 10 Relational Needs of Jesus, and I would add to that, and us. One might ask, well, what does Jesus need? Well, Jesus was fully human. He had human needs, just as we do. And we're going to be looking at a number of scriptures. We're going to be moving rather swiftly today to just touch on these 10 relational needs that Jesus had, being fully human, and we have today. Every human being has these relational needs. And we need to be seeking to help meet some of those needs in the lives of others, in the lives of our friends, our family, our neighbors. And we need those met in our life too, from time to some degree. He was in every way like us. And so let's begin real quick here. Number one. Oh, I forgot to do the memory verse. Let's go back. Yep, here we go. Read it with me. So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are of the household of faith. Okay, you're going to see it again in a little while. Remember, the quiz is coming in the month. Number one, acceptance. In John 1:11, he came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. How about someone close to you? Is there someone in your life that maybe you have refused to share loving kindness with because of some difference that exists between you? Everybody needs a sense of acceptance. And if they don't get it in the right place, they'll look for it somewhere else. Peer pressure. We all like to be accepted by our peers, especially young people. And sometimes they may go to extremes to find that acceptance in the wrong places. We all need acceptance. Number two, affection. What is affection? Expressing care by physical touch and through loving words. That's what affection is. In Luke 7:44 and following, then turning toward the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but from the time I came in, she has not ceased to kiss my feet. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she has anointed my feet with ointment." Jesus did not receive the common courtesies of the day when he entered this man's home. They would often wash the feet, give a kiss of greeting, and anoint with oil for a special guest. None of that happened for him. None of that type of affection was demonstrated to him. And when he accepted the affection of another, he was criticized by accepting the affections of this woman who fulfilled the courtesies that should have been offered by the host of the home. How about your neighbor? Is there someone close to you who needs a hug? Some kind words? Some affection? Don't we all need that? Now, I know a bunch of you are huggers. That's good. I like to hug. Some people aren't huggers. Well, you got to find another avenue of showing a sense of affection. I don't mean in an intimate sexual way, just in a friendly way, of affection. We all need affection. Number three, appreciation. What is appreciation? Expressing thanks, praise, or commendation and recognition of someone's accomplishments or efforts. Luke 17:12-17. He entered a village. He was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priest." And as they went, they were cleansed. Then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus answered, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Appreciation. Can you detect a bit of pain, maybe, in Jesus' question? Jesus set 10 of them free from their condemnation in society of being lepers. He deserved appreciation. Only one came to express it. I think we've all perhaps felt maybe the lack of appreciation from time to time. Not being appreciated. But how about someone in your home? How about a neighbor, a friend? Someone close to you where you could go and say, "Thank you. I appreciate what you've done." And even if what they did wasn't the best, you appreciate their effort, their intentions, and things of that nature. Maybe they failed, but appreciation still counts. I remember the first sermons I ever preached as a young man. They weren't too good, Earl. It was rough. Even I knew it. I got done, and there were times I thought, "Man, that was terrible." You know what? I still had people who came to me, and they knew it wasn't the best sermon they ever heard, who came to me and encouraged me and showed some appreciation for my efforts. If that hadn't happened, I don't know if I would have stayed in ministry or not. That helped urge me on, spur me on in the faith. Who around us? Think of the young people, even among our family here. Give them that little push, that word of appreciation for their efforts, even though they may not have been the best performance you've seen. Encourage them in what they're doing, particularly in the faith, and urge them on to even greater things. I imagine all of us could perhaps think of someone in our life who maybe was that person, maybe was a teacher at school, maybe was a Sunday school teacher, maybe was a family member who gave us that word of appreciation for our efforts to encourage us on. We all need that, don't we? Number 4, approval. Building up another person for who they are. Mark 6, 1-3. He went away from there and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. And on the Sabbath he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished, saying, "Where did this man get these things? What is the wisdom given to him? How are such mighty works done by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? And are not all his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him. Can you imagine walking from one dusty town to another? Jesus finally comes to his own hometown of Nazareth. He comes home. Goes in the synagogue, reads from the scriptures, expresses their meaning. And instead of finding approval, he finds criticism and sarcasm, suspicion. Instead of being built up, he's torn down. How often we discount his ability to bring change into our lives. They did. Do we discount the ability of Jesus to bring change in our lives today? I hope not. I hope not. How about someone you know, a friend or neighbor, someone close who needs to hear words of approval? Words of approval. Number 5, attention, taking notice of others and trying to enter their world. John 6, 65 and 66, he said, "This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless it is granted him by the Father." After this, many of his disciples turned back and no longer walked with Him. Now, giving our attention is more than just noticing. It's entering into their world. That's how we give attention. Boy, I tell you right now, I've already stumped on my own feet several times, and we're only halfway through. Wow. Feel what they feel. Rejoice when they rejoice. Mourn when they mourn. Don't we know the feeling of rejection? I imagine all of us have. Have we dishonored God by not giving Him our attention? It's enough just to try to wrap your head around that one. Have we dishonored God by not giving Him our attention? How about your friends and neighbors, those close to you? You need to enter into their world. Not to change it, but to observe it and encourage it. Number 6, comfort. Responding to a hurting person through words, actions, and even touch. John 19:28, after this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said, to fulfill the Scriptures, I thirst. Dying on the cross, He'd been beaten, He was a bloody mess. Being crucified, surrounded by those who were rejoicing at His agony and suffering. He needs comfort, and no one's there to supply it. How can we comfort Jesus today? How can we comfort Him today? By mourning with the things He mourns over. I bet there's a memory verse you know. The shortest verse in the Bible, 2 words. What is it?
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. Do we weep at the things God weeps at? When we see Jesus weeping, what are the things He's weeping at? As a result of sin. Do we weep? What about bringing comfort to those near to us? Someone who needs comfort perhaps even now. Number 7, encouragement. Urging others to persist and persevere. Matthew 26, Peter answered him, though they all fall away because of you, I will never fall away. Jesus said to him, truly I tell you, this very night before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, even if I must die with you, I will not deny you. And all the disciples said the same. It wasn't just Peter. Jesus, facing the greatest crisis in His human existence, when He needed encouragement, got thoughtless promises from those closest to Him. How can we encourage Jesus? By not deserting. By not deserting. By not making empty promises. Empty promises. Over the years in ministry, this is one of the, I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, one of the, I don't want to say oddities because it happens too often. You just get out in the community and people know that you're the preacher. And they'll talk to you. And maybe they haven't been in church in who knows how long. And they'll say something like, well, we've been meaning to get there. Well, you'll see us there next week. Or over the next couple of weeks. And so over a couple of weeks pass. Where are they? Thoughtless promises. So when that happens, I say, it's not the promise to me. It's to God. Keep what you say to God. Don't say something just because you think my itching ears want to hear that. Make your yes, yes, and your no, no. Be genuine in what you say before God. And we think of this, Peter. We think of our neighbors. Someone close who needs a word of encouragement instead of a word of failure. Someone who needs us there by their side instead of us deserting them in a moment of great need. Someone who needs to hear, you can do it. You can do it. Number 8, respect. Giving high value and honor with our words and our actions. In Mark 15, beginning verse 16, the soldiers led him away inside the palace, that is the governor's headquarters, and they called together the whole battalion. And they clothed him in a purple cloak, and twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on him, and they began to salute him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they were striking his head with a reed and spitting on him, and kneeling down in homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they stripped him of the purple cloak and put his clothes on him, and they led him out to crucify him. Jesus deserved respect, but instead he was mocked. Have we been guilty of mocking someone instead of respecting them for the creation they are? They were made in God's image. In His image. We can show God respect by sincere, genuine worship to Him. Sincere and genuine. How about our friends and neighbors? Someone close who needs more respect and less mockery, less sarcasm. Someone who needs more honor. And we're in a position to give it, to encourage it. Number 9, security. Providing freedom from fear or threats. Luke 11:17, but he, knowing their thoughts, said to them, every kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and a divided household falls. Jesus knew at this time that things were getting ready to unravel. Things were getting ready to fall apart. He knew his followers would fall away. He knew those who hailed him as king just a couple of days before were now going to be crying, "Crucify him!" His relational need for security was not being met. How could we possibly offer Jesus security? By meeting together, assembling ourselves together, inviting others to join us. What about your friends and neighbors? Don't they need security too? We need to feel safe within our spirit, in our heart, instead of being under attack and mocked. If there's someone that you know needs assurance to be free from fear of threats, of course, to all these questions, I'm sure we could say yes. There are. Number 10, support. To come alongside, providing assistance with a problem or difficulty or challenge. Matthew 26:38 and following, he said to them, my soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me. And going a little farther, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, so could you not watch with me 1 hour? Perhaps the hardest night in Jesus' earthly life. And all he asked was a little support for those nearest him. Stay with me. Watch with me. Join me in praying for this fallen world that's hurting. Weep with him. about those we know. Maybe someone close to us who needs support. They don't want your advice. Perhaps all they want is your silent arm to lean on, to be there when they need it. Jesus, as a man, had relational needs. He needed acceptance, he got rejection. He needed affection, he got ignored. He needed appreciation, he got snubbed. He needed approval, he got sarcasm. He needed attention, he got desertion. He needed comfort, he got shunned. He needed encouragement, he got empty promises. He needed respect, he got mockery. He needed security, he got crucifixion. He needed support, he got disappointment. Perhaps you're here thinking, as I have from time to time, I know how it is, Jesus. My relational needs don't always get met either. I understand that. Let me ask you this. Are you helping to meet the relational needs of someone else? When Jesus returned to the Father, the right hand, even now, he continues, does he not, to pour out relational needs to us to this day. He does not withhold them because we didn't need them in his life. But he still blesses us with them. Wow. If you want your relational needs met, you need to be seeking to help meet the relational needs of others. Try it. It works. It works. So let's look at that memory verse again. Let's read that together. So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are of the household of faith. We all have relational needs that need to be met. And we've already seen that on many occasions, Jesus did not have them met, but found just the opposite coming his way. Truth be known, probably all of us could say, yeah, I know that feeling somewhat. But just think, if we help to meet each other's emotional needs, none of us will be lacking. None of us will be lacking. I'm reminded of that image of the great banquet hall table. And everybody had all their favorite foods. And they had a long spoon. And you could reach it, but you couldn't get it to your own mouth. And at one banquet, everybody's starving to death. Another banquet hall, same scene. All these long spoons. And everybody had plenty. How? Because they'd take it and they'd feed the person across the table from them. Everybody had their need met. You want your emotional needs met? You need to contribute with reaching your spoon across the table too. And you'll find that God will meet those needs. Through his people, oftentimes. Let's stand together. Think of how you can meet a need.